Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to St. Patrick's Day 2025. Can't really say Irish luck has been on our side today because we fully expected a pretty good day on the ASX because not only of the lead in from Wall Street last Friday, but also our market was quite oversold. So fully expected this particular day. The question becomes what's going to happen during the rest of the week. I expect we'll have a good week and then maybe weakness in the markets over the next few weeks, but I just don't know. And one of the things I'm going to do today is have a look at an article in the AFR in regards to Macquarie's outlook, not a good outlook. And then we'll go through the ASX today, looking the best and worst performing indices, sectors, also companies. And then we'll have a look at the top 5 stocks of the day. And even though we haven't seen much action in regards to announcements, I refer to today as Transaction Monday. A few acquisitions or potential acquisitions, potential merger, and also discuss 2 New Zealand-based companies dealing with energy and also salmon. Okay, so let's get stuck into the main crux of the video. But first, or maybe not first, this is the part of the main crux of the video. An article in the AFR. Macquarie warns of bear market as US spending collapses. And this is a concern. Now, I am going to do, or have been planning on doing a video titled, What is Causing the Market to Crash? And I'll give it away. There is one thing causing the market to crash, and that is uncertainty. Uncertainty is the worst thing to have. And this is true for businesses and also consumers. Because if you're uncertain about the future, say you don't know if you're going to have a job tomorrow or not, what are you going to do with your spending? You're going to really pull back on your spending. And that is true for consumers and businesses. If businesses don't know what's happening with tariffs and all that stuff, they're not going to really spend as much. So uncertainty is one of the worst things you can have in the economy. And we're starting to see that in the United States. US spending is starting to collapse. Consumer sentiment is starting to drop. And this is all to do with uncertainty. Anyway, so an okay article, good article from the AFR. Now, I'm not a subscriber to the AFR, but this article seems to be free because I read the whole thing. Anyway, so have a look at that article. This is from, who is it from? Alex Golias. Haven't read many of these articles, so I can't say if he's good or not. But anyway, good article to read in regards to the potential, just the potential of a bear market. And I do think that potential is heightened right now. And it's really interesting. I might have talked about this. June B. Lay Liu, or whatever her name is, in a podcast mentioned at the start of the year, there were 3 potential landings, soft, hard, and good landing or whatever. And she said recently the hard landing's been taken off the table. And I was just like, what? What do you mean? Hard landing is actually much more likely now than it was only 2 weeks ago, which I thought was a really weird take to say a hard landing is now off the table. Anyway, because yeah, here we go. Macquarie says a bear market is a possibility. Anyway, let's have a look at the ASX today. It's a good day. Let's rejoice. It's a pretty good day after a few bad weeks, 4 bad weeks in a row. And probably the only thing you might say is maybe today could have been better. But as someone did mention in my comments, I thought maybe Friday would be a bad day, but it was a good day. So we've had 2 good days in a row, and maybe this is it. Maybe this is the bounce. Who knows what's going to happen? Trump could mention he's going to put 50% tariffs on all countries of the world, and that would lead to the collapse in American markets overnight. You just don't know what's going to happen with Trump. So that is also causing a lot of uncertainty. We just don't know what Trump is going to do. But anyway, if we go through the sectors, yeah, all sectors are up apart from healthcare. Don't know what's happening there. Does that mean CSL was down? I'm assuming CSL is down. Don't know. Let's have a look. Probably they're all down, maybe. Yeah, CSL is down 1.22%. Sigma Healthcare up 3.33%. But CSL is by far the biggest company in healthcare. So the way CSL goes, the way healthcare sector also goes. CSL is now below $250. And it's a really interesting level. Even though I think there is a potential of a bear market, where CSL is right now, it does look enticing. That's all I'm going to say. It does look enticing. What you do with that, You might totally disagree with me. You might think CSL is the worst company on the ASX. But a pretty good day for materials, energy, utilities, and financials. Looks like maybe the banks have had a nice little bounce. Yes, they have. ASX 200 banks up 0.78%, but not quite as good as resources. And I still think there is a bit of rotation from the banks into parts of the mining area, sector, or whatever. Anyway, ASX 20 up 0.66%. Do I really need to discuss ASX 20? Yeah, why not? Always do it. I'd say 15 companies up, 5 down. Ooh, 10 up, 10 down. That's interesting. I did not expect that. That's a little bit of a surprise. So I'm really glad I've clicked on this. In fact, let's have a look at the companies by market cap. So it seems like every second company is down, including CSL, NAB, Wesfarmers, Goodman Group, Telstra, all down. Oh, by the way, I am doing a standalone video on Telstra. I wouldn't say been praising Telstra, but I thought their results were actually not that bad. So I decided to have a closer look at Telstra, and there is a red flag that has popped up. So I want to do a standalone video on Telstra, and yeah, it's all over the place on the ASX 20, but overall, it's up. And I think the reason it's up is because the better performing companies are up by a significant amount, like Fortescue's up 3.72%, Rio Tinto's up 2.1%, so obviously iron ore's had a good day, and BHP's up 2.17%. So it seems like our market has been led higher today by iron ore. That is just by looking at this. Okay, so let's have a look at the top gainers today. See if there's any surprises. Besra Gold is the best performing company by percentage change. However, this company did receive a price query from the ASX. So let's have a look at this price query. So they did not release any announcements. There we go. In fact, they released an ASX aware letter and an ASX price query. Let's see if they have any explanations why the share price is up a fair bit today. And of course, they answer question 1, no, which is, I'd say, 95% likely to happen. And that means I don't have to answer question 2. Question 3, they didn't answer question 3. That's really disappointing. Yeah, so that's like, I wouldn't say it's a lazy answer, but they can do anything they like in section 3. They could point out how this company is woefully undervalued. Maybe they should do that. I don't know. I have no idea about this company. Or maybe the market doesn't realize the potential of this company. They could do anything they want in section 3. The worst answer to right here is no. They could have done wonderful things with section 3. But anyway, share price of Besra is up, what was it, 80%. Let's have a look at the chart. This was on my radar many years ago. Share price took off. 2 years ago, yeah, share price took off, and the interest in this company died away fairly quickly, and the share price just gradually decreased. And this is usually what you see happen when the hype dies away. If there's no enthusiasm from the buyers, the share price just drops slowly. Yeah, this is the most common course of action for companies on the ASX, to drop slowly. Companies have to release good news, particularly these type of companies have to release good news to the market. Now, when you talk about more profitable companies, maybe not, but these type of companies definitely have to keep on releasing positive announcements, and Besra obviously haven't. And even though share price has rallied today, I can sort of see why it's rallied. Look at the share price, how it's dropped over the last month. It's just collapsed. I'd say this is just a bit of an oversold bounce, although the volume's been quite high. It could be just day traders. And in fact, I'd say it is just day traders, because share price on Friday rose 32%, and they would have got interested in that. They would have got interested in this company just because of that day. And you can see the volume has just come in strong today. So no point lingering on too long with Besra Gold. Donaco, well, funny enough, companies coming in number 3, number 4, Smartpay and Donaco. I'll talk about those 2 companies in the top 5. Hint, hint, acquisitions or takeovers. And what else do we have here? Oh, Global Health up 18.2%. No, it's low turnover. I'm going to move on. They did announce a contract. It was a $1 million contract. I sort of went, not much, but a fairly low turnover. So I think we can move on. Other than that, nothing much happening here, although Bubs Australia up 16.7%. Now on to the top gainers by market cap. MinRes, I believe MinRes is up because, I'm just going to lift the camera here. There we go. I think MinRes is up because of a positive, it could have been UBS or someone changed their, their rating of mineral resources from a neutral to a buy. And to be honest with you, why do people just look at that and go, oh my God, they think it's a buy now, I'm going to start buying. But this happens. It does cause the share price of companies to rise or fall in the very short term. So this more than likely is just going to be a one-day hit, and then the negative sentiment is going to return. That's what I'm predicting. And if you just have a look at MinRes, I can sort of understand why some of the brokers would be changing their thoughts on this company and changing their opinion of a company from maybe a sell to a buy or a neutral to a buy, just because share price has almost collapsed to $20. But with this day, even though it's up 10%, I wouldn't be trading this just yet. Spartan Resources, that falls into the transaction column. Spartan Resources up almost 10%. We'll talk about that company in the top 5. What else? Smart Parking, don't know. Some of these companies are probably just bouncing. Yep. Okay, so let's move on to the top losers. On this sort of day, you don't want to be in the top losers, particularly if your share price has dropped over the last week or few weeks. You want to have a pretty good day today. Now, most of the companies in the top losers by percentage change are small companies. In fact, tiny, tiny companies. In the top 10 worst performing companies today, the biggest company is Moto, which is a manufacturer of motorcycles, like scooters maybe. Share price down 13%. Market cap is 31 million. As I keep on going down, the biggest company in this list is actually Theta Gold Mines, down almost 10%. Just above that company, we have SPC Global, now at 45 cents. Oh, share price of this company has collapsed. I had not a close look, but I did have a look at this company as I was sort of interested, but when I had a close look, I became less interested. And I can definitely understand why the share price has just fallen like a rock since it was sort of like a reverse takeover, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so share price has dropped from $1.50. So share price has dropped 67%, and I'm not shocked. I had a look at their results as well. Yeah, I have no interest in this company. Back to top losers. That's about it. Oh, no, top losers by market cap, of course. Yeah, sorry. Drone Shield again, just bouncing. So a lot of the companies here. Again, Vysarn. I'm not sure why Vysarn is down. That's interesting. They did release better than expected results, and share price did sort of increase on that day. So I am bit of wind outside. I am a little bit surprised the share price has decreased a little bit today. But when you have a look at the chart, nothing much going on here. In fact, you could say the share price of Vysarn is now just consolidating, going sideways. So this was a trade of mine. Then I got out because it looked like the uptrend in the share price had come to an end. Potential longer-term buy or hold for me, just because it has potential for the long term. But at this point in time, I am not in Vysarn. And to be honest with you, nothing much else here. Anyway, so let's move on to the top 5 stocks of the day. And we'll start off with Meridian. It is garbage day. In fact, enough, I can see the street and I can hear a garbage truck. It should be recycling because the normal garbage has been taken. I heard the brake of the garbage truck. It's funny, I can see. Yeah. Anyway, so let's have a look at a company called Meridian Energy. Share price down 2.41%. They did release Energy Monthly Operating Report for February 2025. I'll be honest with you. I had a look at this because there's nothing much else released today. This was one of the first, if not the first announcement released today. We saw a lot of decreased in the key points. So National Hydro storage decreased from 91 to 76. South Island storage decreased 72%. Monthly total inflows were 42% of historical average. Total inflows for the first 2 months, lowest recorded start to a calendar year since records began. Waiau catchment inflows were 31% of historical average. And they also mentioned that February 2025 was warm and dry for most regions with temperatures above average. And national electricity demand was 5.2% lower in the same month. And there's a garbage truck. Same month, you can't see it, of course, because it's the other way from the camera, but I can see it. Anyway, so this just sounded pretty weak. And it seems like this company, I don't know what they do. So obviously they have hydro, and that would, snow melt. I'm assuming that's also in the South Island, but I'm assuming that has something to do with snow melt, but also rain would be very important for hydro. And if they're not getting a lot of rain, then maybe that's what they're talking about. But they're also talking about an aluminium smelter. Funny enough, just discovered USA used to have like 90 aluminium smelters. This may be going back 30 years. They have 4 now. They have 4, and Trump has put tariffs on aluminium. And the question is, well, what are they going to do? How are they going to get all this aluminium in-house? They don't have any aluminium smelters, only 4. Anyway, I don't really know if he's knowing what I'm not sure if he knows what he's doing. Anyway, so it sounded really weak, this monthly report from Meridian, and the share price is down 2.41%. There you go. And let's have a look at the chart for Meridian. MES, sort of like Pez, but with an M. And in fact, the chart does look weak. Now, I don't think, in fact, the share price at the height in the past year or so has been as high as 620. Now it's 487. I don't think this is a sort of company that you're going to get significant capital growth. I would assume this is mostly an income play. So what's the dividend yield? 3.83%, not that much. Price to earnings ratio, 121, so you can't really trust that. Market cap is $13 billion. If you have a look at the weekly chart, you do get a little bit of capital growth if you hold on for the long term. So there is, and the chart does go from the bottom left to the top right. Not quite, but I'm not sure what happened in late 2020. Share price went bonkers. But anyway, I suppose if you do hold on for the ultra long term, you will see a little bit of capital growth with Meridian. So I probably would prefer this over, say, a bank or an oil company, because with those companies, you're not going to see much, if any, capital growth at all. Okay, so that's Meridian Energy coming in number 5. And that's the first of the New Zealand-based companies. The second of New Zealand-based companies is Salmon. New Zealand King Salmon Investments. Without even doing any research in this sector, this would be a hard business. Share price down 8.7% on a trading update. Now, the main reason this company is in the top 5 is because they released a trading update. And I want to see more and more trading updates from companies over the next few months, because they're my favorite type of announcement. So I had to read this. I just had to read this trading update. And it's, to be honest with you, this was quite interesting trading update, because it shows you what these type of companies have to deal with. You can have the greatest management in the world, and then bad things happen, that they're out of control. Bad things happen, and they can't control these bad things. For instance, they are currently experiencing higher than expected sea farm mortality. So obviously the salmon is dying earlier than they would want, coupled with lower than anticipated growth rates. Who knows at what rate or why salmon grow at the rate they do? Maybe they have experts. Anyway, although the business does experience high mortality in the summer months, warmer waters, I have no idea. It is at a level which will impact harvest volumes for financial year 26. Yeah, financial year 26. But the mortality levels are significantly lower than the end of financial year 22 and beginning of financial year 23. And they start talking about financial year 25 guidance. And they also, in the last paragraph, this is my favorite probably paragraph, because they talk about how hard this business is. The board acknowledges the cause of fish mortality is multifactorial with the dominant correlation currently occurring with prolonged elevated water temperature. There you go, which increases stress and reduces the salmon's resistance to bacteria and other pathogens. The recent change to the farming model mitigates some of the salmon mortality risk by avoiding holding fish at a warmer site over summer. The business continues to invest in improved fish health outcomes to further mitigate risks such as thermotolerance, vaccine development for fish, by the way, vaccine development and diet. Just sounds like a hard business. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for New Zealand King Salmon Fish, whatever it's called. NZK. This is also listed on the New Zealand Stock Exchange. This is the weekly chart. And yeah, not the chart of a high quality company. This goes back to 2016. Yeah, I have no interest in this at all. Just based off the weekly chart, daily chart. Yeah, no interest in this company at all. But interesting read if you're interested in reading about interesting stuff, intriguing stuff. And that's salmon. I don't like eating salmon. I'll give salmon heads to my dogs. That's about it. Coming in number 3, we have Donaco International. Share price up 40%. Interesting company. This is a casino operator, probably owner as well. And their casino is in Southeast Asia somewhere. I'm thinking Vietnam or Cambodia, somewhere like that. I'm pretty sure it's on the border of 2 countries. And I'm just going to show first before I have a look. Oh, by the way, there's a takeover bid for this company. So Donaco, DNA, enter scheme information deed. So you can see the share price or the takeover bid is at a high price when the share price is. I'm just going to show you the most recent quarterly report. And I've been following this company for a while now. Well, actually, I've been following this company for probably 10 years, but I've been following this company a little bit more closely recently because the company is really cheap and they're actually operating cash flow and free cash flow positive. So in this particular quarter, they were operating cash flow positive by 6.4 million. For the first 6 months, operating cash flow positive 11.4 million. Not a lot of capital expenditure. So they were free cash flow positive by $6 million. And their market cap wasn't that high. It was maybe 40 million. So now it's, 51.8 million. So it's even lower than 40 million. I was thinking, geez, there's some value with this company. Then I had a look at the chart and the chart did nothing for me. And there's just no interest in this company. It must be something to do with their casinos and just a potential risk. I don't know. I don't follow this company too closely. I'm just going to see where their casinos are. It's like Cambodia or Vietnam. Oh, yeah, Cambodia on the border with Thailand. Okay, I knew it was on the border, but yeah, so Cambodia and Thailand. They used to, maybe not anymore, but they used to get a lot of high rollers from China. Oh, no. It's also a pioneer casino operator in Vietnam and a 95% interest in the business in a joint venture with the government of Vietnam. Okay, that's why I was thinking Vietnam. Okay. And they're sponsored by Manchester United. Oh, no, they sponsor Manchester United. That's interesting. Okay, so there's a takeover bid for this company. I'll just have a look at this takeover bid. It's a pretty big document. It was at a pretty good premium, like a 50% premium. I keep thinking 4.5 cents or maybe 4.4 cents. 4.5 cents. Yeah, so it's a pretty good premium. Share price is still 10% lower than this particular takeover bid. It's from ONR on Nut Road, a special purpose vehicle managed by Argyle Street Management, a Hong Kong licensed fund manager with $2 billion of assets under management. And there is potential they're getting this company for a song. And that's a really cheap song like maybe Achy Breaky Heart isn't that cheap. It's just a really annoying song. Whatever a really cheap song would be worth. They're getting it for a song, and the board unanimously recommends the shareholders vote in favour of the scheme. And if you have a look at the chart, this company was actually, there was a fair bit of interest in this company going back, I'm thinking 2014-15. Share price, I'm pretty sure, was above $1. Ooh, got to $1.60, and this was in 2014. It's like 11 years ago. Just can't believe it was that long ago. So there was a fair bit of interest in this company just after they listed, but that interest has died away, and share price at 4.2 cents. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure if I was a shareholder, I'd be happy with the takeover bid, because if they keep on producing that sort of cash flow, they could just be they could have a dividend yield that's like 20% or something like that. But anyway, I suppose there is a bit of a risk because of where they've located their casinos. I don't know. No idea. Anyway, on to company coming in number 2. We have 2 companies, Ramelius and Spartan. We'll look at Spartan because the share price of Spartan is up 9%. Ramelius down a little bit. Yep, down 1.36%. So let's go back to Spartan. I suppose we don't have to because their announcements would be on this. So there is a merger between the two companies. Obviously, based off the market reaction, the merger favours Spartan. Just based off the market reaction, share price of Spartan is up 10%. Ramelius down 1.36%. I didn't have a look at this, I'll be honest with you. It's a merger. We're starting to see more and more mergers with mining companies. Have you noticed that? So a lot more mergers with mining companies. It's sort of understandable. And who knows, maybe this is another way to play gold. We're on the proviso that there are going to be more and more mergers in the future. Here we go. So the creation of a leading West Australia gold company with strong, highly profitable existing operations. Ramelius and Spartan, $4.2 billion markup, $503 million of cash, 12.1 million ounces of gold resources, and production. Funny enough, see this production here, 500 kilo ounces per annum, sort of like West African Resources, and West African Resources markup is much lower than that. Hint, hint, I do own that company. Yeah, so that's it. For the merger, I don't think I have to go through any more. Here we go. Actually, I should go through the key transaction details. This is actually quite important. The scheme has been unanimously recommended by the Spartan board. Ramelius will acquire 100% of the fully paid ordinary shares in Spartan. So it's not really a merger. This is a takeover then. So you can see I haven't gone through this. So I thought this was a merger just based off the titles. It says transformation combination of Ramelius and Spartan. But by looking at this transaction detail, this is a takeover. Ramelius is taking over Spartan. So Spartan shareholders to receive 25 cents in cash and 0.6957 Ramelius shares. Okay. Consideration implies a value of 178 per Spartan share. There we go. So let's have a look at Spartan. Oh, it's very close. You can see what share price is up. Yeah, and there you go. But the other thing is, if Ramelius share price just collapse, the implied value would also be falling as well. All right, so let's have a look at the charts for both Ramelius and Spartan. So Ramelius has been under a little bit of stress recently. Share price has collapsed because of that. It was Mount Magnet outlook, or the mine plan for Mount Magnet disappointed the market. And that's what the share price has collapsed. However, share price is just hovering just above a nice little support level at $2.10. So that's at least a little bit interesting. Spartan Resources, however, their chart does look quite spectacular. A beautiful looking chart for Spartan Resources, and share price is at an all-time high. But more than likely, only one of these companies will survive because they're going to become one. That's why I said only one of these will survive, because they'll become one. And I'd say, if I'm guessing, that it will be called Ramelius Resources moving forward. Okay, onto the stock of the day. Well, not really. I sort of did put these in order, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I suppose this will be the stock of the day. It's Smartpay. Share price up 50%. A couple of takeover bids for Smartpay. So apparently there was some speculation in AFR. Which one should we look at first? The first one, 7:30 a.m. So this was also a New Zealand-based company, isn't it? There you go, a New Zealand theme on Patrick's Day. So New Zealand and Ireland theme on this Monday. Anyway, so Smartpay refers to the article in AFR in relation to possible controlled transactions, and they confirm they have received two separate conditional, non-binding, and indicative proposals. One from Tyro Payments, and the other is from International Strategic, the other party. Oh, from an International Strategic, the other party. I don't think they're called the other party, they're just the other party. There's a chance they don't want to be named, which has happened in the past. And there was an example many, many years ago. I'm trying to remember what company it was. It was a very small company. They were so excited about a deal they made, they actually named the other party, and they weren't supposed to. And then the other party the next day pulled the deal because they named, and the company eventually went bankrupt. So if the big company doesn't want you to name them, don't name them. Anyway, so the indicator price, the takeover bid, the Tyro takeover bid is at 90 cents Australia. So share price of Smartpay is at 79.5 cents. Now, if I was a smart or long-term Smartpay shareholder, I won't or wouldn't want this to take this takeover bid to be successful, because I believe, in my opinion, this is what do you call it? Opportunistic takeover, because the share price of Smartpay has dropped a fair bit, and I would say Smartpay is undervalued at these levels. This is another really good reason why having founder-led businesses is really helpful in these sort of situations, because if Smartpay was led by a founder and he had a big holding, there would be no way there would be a takeover bid for this company. So I do think this is an opportunity to take over from Tyro and the other party. And to be honest with you, that's what they should be doing. Look for opportunities. Look for companies they might want to take over. If the share price falls a lot, put in a bid. Yeah, so why not? We'd rather buy this company at 90 cents than $1.50, which it was not that long ago. And if they did put in takeover bid, it was $1.50, they probably would have to put in a bid at $2. So half than what they would have done this time last year. So I do think this is an opportunistic, with the share price dropping a lot. If I was a long-term shareholder of Smartpay, I probably would not be happy with this takeover bid. I'd say no way. By the way, Tyro chart also looks weak, although not as weak as, actually looks weaker now than Smartpay. So no interest in Tyro at this point in time. Definitely on my watch list, but not at this point in time. Okay, so what else? What else can we look at? Maybe some of your comments. Big boy baby, Tyro acquisition of Smartpay seems good in the long run. However, it hurts for shareholders to reject a 1.6 offer for being undervalued, then later paying for Smartpay at 100% premium with script worth half of that. So was there a takeover bid for Smartpay at $1.60? That is disappointing. Thank you, Sansa. You're very welcome. Sensei says he never understands people's obsession with population control and a strange obsession with some people loving pets, animals more than humans sometimes. A good, decent, genuine human being is 1 billion trillion times better than a lovable golden retriever. I totally disagree with that. No way near 1 billion trillion times better. You're showing your humanness, your speciesness at play there to say it's 1 billion trillion times better. Put it this way. You have one white rhino alive, and then you have a hunter hunting that white rhino. Do you say to that white rhino hunter, yeah, go away. Yeah, sure, kill it. You're worth more than that white rhino. I'd say no way. No. I would say, yeah, shoot that person. Shoot that hunter. So I sort of do disagree with the 1 billion trillion times better. I think it's all relative, depending what species you're talking about. So some people hate cockroaches, for instance. But cockroaches do serve a purpose. All animals serve a purpose. And if we keep on killing all animals, guess what's going to happen? We're going to find ourselves on a planet and it's going to be completely out of balance. So all animals serve a purpose. 8 billion people on the earth. I mean, over the last 150, what was his name? Starts with M. So this is well over 130, 40 years ago. They thought the population was too large. There was too many people. But they assumed that food growth couldn't grow exponential. Food could only grow, what's the other one? Linear. But they didn't realize that technology comes along and food, growing of food exponentially grows. So this planet can handle more and more people, but eventually that will come to an end. The other thing you have to keep in mind is we are using natural resources of this planet, and eventually all the natural resources will run out. All the natural resources of this planet will run out. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but it is going to happen. Eventually it will happen. Anyway, there is more than enough space and food for more than 8 billion humans to be on Earth and live. Yes, that's true. with the amount of food that gets wasted in some parts of the world. That's absolutely true. There's enough space and food, and again, with increases in technology, I think even 8 billion is fairly small, but it's not about I'm not sure what I was going to say there. But anyway, maybe have to use less plastics and some other materials as talked about on this video, but thriving and growing should not be an issue. I think eventually we do have to thrive and survive in a sustainable manner because, again, we keep using natural resources, and these natural resources, many of these natural resources are finite. They're not infinite. And that's the reason why I do think eventually we're going to have to expand out into space. Eventually. I'm not sure when that's going to be. Issues I've noticed in 2025 compared to our great-grandparents, people nowadays are very impatient and it's because of the phones, isn't it? Social media and phones. The attention span of people has decreased. I'm pretty sure there's research on this. The attention span of people have decreased significantly. And that's why I like movies. Movies, you need the action. You need something happening all the time, or TV shows as well. Anyway, so yeah, people, I think it's mostly to do with social media. People get very annoyed quickly and irritated with other human beings around them. I'm like that. But I'm very, what's the word? I am very, what's the opposite of social? I wouldn't call myself socially awkward. No, I wouldn't say that. I am, that word where anyway, I put it this way. I get way more strength. When I'm around people, I just lose a lot of energy because dealing with people is really hard. And so I lose a lot of energy. And that's why being by myself is just so good because I'm not going through so much energy, losing energy. Anyway, so get very annoyed quickly and irritated with other human beings around them and tend to be ultra hyper at loving a very small amount of people and will be very nasty and vicious to the others who are not in their ultra hyper inner circle. I'm not sure. Well, I don't know about that. But I think most people are nice to each other. I don't see people being nasty to each other when I'm out and about. I think most people are nice to each other, nice to strangers. On occasion, I do see nasty people. In fact, the worst interactions I've seen between strangers was probably 30 years ago. And I just saw some people being very nasty to some Asians. And at that point, there was still a lot of the veterans from World War II, very anti-Japanese because the Japanese were awful to the war prisoners, that sort of thing. And I definitely could understand why some of those people living in that generation were very negative towards Japanese. But unfortunately, Japanese and Chinese and Vietnamese are all lumped together. So I saw a lot of nastiness back in, this would have been the 80s and 90s, around or toward Asian people. And I think that's really died out, completely died out. Maybe I'm being ignorant here in saying that. So I'm not sure I believe that people are nasty and vicious to others. I don't know about that. Anyway, what's that word I'm looking for that describes me? The opposite of outgoing. This happens to me a lot where I want to think of a word. Introverted. Yeah. So I'm ultra introverted. Funny enough, I'm not shy, but I'm ultra introverted. So I gain a lot of strength. I lose if I go to a party or anything like that. I lose. It's energy sapping to me. Really energy sapping to me. And for those who have ever read that book, what is it? Walden by Henry Thoreau. Henry Thoreau. I'm pretty sure it's Walden. Yeah, Henry David Thoreau. So this was a book because he went into the Massachusetts wild. He's called a transcendentalist, apparently. He went into the Massachusetts wild to live among nature, 1854, something like that. And that's what he did, lived among nature for 1 year. And I could do that myself, immersing himself in nature, simple living and self-sufficiency. Anyway, so I could actually do that. I could actually not see a person for a whole year and I would be fine. I'm not reliant on other people. Anyway, so that's just me. Anyway, I think I've really rambled on when it comes to this particular question. And Just James Dean says, we are not looking at horizontal support lines anymore. Oh, we definitely are. Horizontal support lines are my favorite. So here we go with Tyro. I put a horizontal support line right there and it fell through that and looks like it's testing it today. But I also have like downtrend lines, horizontal support lines, resistance lines. In fact, I'd say my horizontal support and resistance lines are my favorite types. And I do think they do hold. You can see here with Tyro, it held. So you can hear it bounced off that and then fell through. And possibly it's testing it today. Okay, that's all I have for today's video. Sorry about that rambling with Sensei's question or comment. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to Australian financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.